Welcome, all my fellow Washington brethren and sistren. I am your man and resident Washington football team fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the Washington Football Report. Another day, another free agent signing, another upgrade to this roster. This is what free agency is about when you're a young team trying to figure it out. Adding players that make the team better and not breaking the bank to do so. Every single deal made in the first 3 days of free agency, we're going to count the 2 tampering window opportunity days as well, whether it's Ryan Fitzpatrick on a 1-year, $10 million deal, even though I may not love it, still a quality deal for a solid football player that's going to add competition to this roster. You look at William Jackson III yesterday, 3 years, another $42 million deal, $14 million per. That's good, solid market value money for a top level cornerback. So you don't feel bad about spending on a guy that you think is going to come in and upgrade the position from where it was a season ago. And just think of it this way. Darby costs $10 million on the market. You spend 4 more per year to get you a player that you feel is going to be better for your defense moving forward. So today, same thing, different day. One of the biggest positions we came into the offseason talking about was the wide receiver position and how an upgrade had to be made. And they needed to do it in free agency. We got enough young guys on the roster at the receiver position. When you start talking about the undrafted guys, I don't really care about all of the undrafted guys, but, you know, the Isaiah Wrights of the world, the Steven Sims Jr.'s, the Cam Sims. Obviously, you're going to get Harmon back this year off of injury. You got AGG, who you spent a 4th-round pick on last year. You got Terry McLaurin. The cupboard is full of young players, but none with experience. Now you add a guy in the mix with a little bit more experience in Curtis Samuel. Another really solid, quality, structured deal. 3 years, $34.5 million. So essentially $11.5 million per on an annual salary basis. That's good money. That's market value money. That's exactly what you intended to spend if you were looking to get Curtis Samuel. I talked about this potentially being a deal that could be made. I had in weeks since backed off of that, thought he was going to end up with the Giants in New York. And some of that was me wanting Corey Davis, okay, and not wanting Washington to go get Curtis Samuel. But at this point, where we are at the first day of free agency, having seen John Ross go, having seen Corey Davis already go, and not seen any of the big guys go off the board, Kenny Golladay, Will Fuller V, Juju Smith-Schuster, and just sitting here, I was getting anxious. I was getting antsy. Not necessarily nervous, but I was getting anxious. I was saying, hey, look, we can't strike out here. And I told you I really didn't want Juju Smith-Schuster. I think Kenny Golladay wants more money than he probably warrants and deserves. I wasn't really interested in anybody but Corey Davis and Curtis Samuel because of his familiarity with this offense and his versatility. I was intrigued by him. I didn't want him first, but I told you he's a talented football player. He needs to stay healthy, and he can add something to this team and offense in particular that we lacked last season outside of Terry McLaurin, and that is speed. We saw it firsthand when they came to FedEx in Week 16, and Curtis Samuel had a field day. He had a 40-some yard run. He had a 40-some yard catch. He had a couple of big catches on 3rd downs. He crucified us. He was essentially a one-man wrecking crew in that ball game. And I said, if that was a test to see if he needed to be here in Washington, he passed with flying colors. We knew about Ron Rivera's relationship with him. We knew about Marty Herney's relationship with him. We knew that it made a lot of sense for him to end up here in Washington. We just didn't know if that was going to come to fruition or not, it did. And I can tell you this, while he wasn't the first on my list, he wasn't even the second on my list. I would have preferred Will Fuller the fifth. Bottom line is, I know we got a talented football player. We needed to upgrade wide receiver, and Curtis Samuel is definitely an upgrade. I'm going to say this now because I don't want to have to keep repeating myself on this, because I can't stand when the word versatility is thrown around, and because I feel like it's used too loosely these days, and people throw it around because they heard somebody else say it. So it sounds good, it's catchy, and in certain instances, it makes sense, so it makes you sound smart. This is one of those times where versatility is real, okay? And because of his versatility, and I want to see it used properly, if you don't maximize his versatility, I'm going to be pissed, and I'm not going to love this move as much as I should. If they use this guy, Curtis Samuel, the way that he is made to be used, and we saw it last year with the Panthers with Joe Brady as offensive coordinator and Matt Rule as the head coach. They used him in the backfield as a running back. They used him in the slot as a wide receiver. They used him out wide as a wide receiver. They used him on jet sweeps. They used him to get up the field vertically, up the middle of the field. That's how he hurt us on the deep ball. In the slot, up the field, down the seam, we had no answer, okay? I want to see him utilized in a multitude of ways. I don't want to see him playing the Steven Sims Jr. role of steady diets, of shallow cross routes, the occasional vertical route up the seam, the corner route every now and again that doesn't get thrown, and then you get the jet sweep fake 8 million times only to have it given to him once every 6 games. If that's their idea of using this guy and utilizing him and having versatility, that's going to piss me off, because you're not getting the full spectrum of what this guy brings to the table. Remember, we talked all offseason about Antonio Gibson's versatility and, oh my God, what this guy can do. Look at what he did at Memphis. We can put him in the slot. We can create mismatches outside with linebackers, one-on-one. We did none of that. We simply used him as a running back. And if he caught it out of the backfield, it was usually on a swing route, which is what all running backs in this league do. It was nothing extravagant. We didn't utilize the versatility that he was supposed to bring to the table. Early in the season, we would put him out wide for wide receiver screens and things of that nature, but we didn't use him on jet sweeps. It was one big jet sweep he got against Dallas on a quick handoff, and he popped it for like 40 something. We didn't use the versatility that came with a guy like Antonio Gibson. I know this much, and they know Curtis Samuel, and I'm expecting them to maximize his value. But I don't want to hear the word versatility if you're not going to actually implement his versatility. That means we need to see him touching it in every single facet imaginable. Wide receiver screens, shallow crosses, backfield handoffs, backfield toss, seam routes from the slot, corner routes from the slot, out wide as a receiver. I need to see this guy catching a slant. I need to see him impacting the game from everywhere on the football field. That's how Carolina maximized him this past year when he had his best year of his career. That's how we need to utilize him. I don't want to hear about versatility like we did with Antonio Gibson, only to see him pretty much be a one-dimensional player. I don't want to hear about versatility like we've heard with Kendall Fuller, only to see him pretty much be a one-dimensional boundary corner. If you're going to use the word versatility, mean it. I think they have plans for him. I need to see those plans come to fruition. But one thing's for certain. We needed an upgrade at the position. We got an upgrade at the position. I'm excited about the upgrade, okay? I still have my reservations about the actual player. I know the talent is there. I've acknowledged that. We've talked about this. I wanted a true number 2. I'm not sure that he's that. Again, and I've said this, and I'm going to say it again, I don't give a shit if he's a 6, 7, or a 10. If he puts up the kind of production he put up last year in Carolina, he's a damn 2 in my book. And guess what? That all kind of goes back and harkens back to my original point of versatility. Is Curtis Samuel an 85 catch, 1,172 yard receiver and 9 touchdowns? I don't know if that will ever be him in his career. But can he be an all-purpose dynamo like he was last year, where he's got 37 carries for 422 yards, another 777 yards receiving, and 4 touchdowns there? You're damn right he can. And if they use him in that capacity, I'm going to be one happy fan. So I'm excited. You add speed. Terry McLaurin's excited. You added his best friend. It makes a ton of sense. He knows this offense. They know him. I'm excited about the prospects of this offense getting more dynamic and explosive, because Lord knows we need it. But I also want to see them utilize him properly. So while I'm excited, I still want to see what plans they have for Curtis Samuel. And with that said, I'm going to leave it open to you down in the comment section. How do you feel about this move? I'm elated. I am ecstatic about the upgrade. It was a necessary evil this offseason. It had to be done. I've talked about Washington upgrading the position. They did it with a guy that they're familiar with. I want to see if they can get the most out of Curtis Samuel, because I still believe the best is yet to come for this young man. So I want to see them take Curtis Samuel, turn him from a gadget player to an all-purpose dynamo, which he kind of morphed into last year, to a legitimate weapon and threat consistently year in, year out. Okay, last year, for all intents and purposes, could be a flash in the pan. Okay, and maybe the year before that, he was good. Okay, I want to see it again in a Washington uniform. Okay, that's what I want to see. Tired of guys balling out for other teams, get here and we don't get the same production. He's young, he's talented, want to see it happen here, and I think Scott Turner can get it out of him. So I'm excited for the move. I think we are not done yet. I think we will see another move or two of high-profile nature for this football team. If not, I know we're not done from a clearance item move per se down the road like we saw last year. I think they're going to go after linebacker. I still think a guy like Anthony Harris is in play at the safety position. If his price tag comes down, I think Washington is interested. I don't think they're done. Contrary to popular belief, there are people out there that think we're running low on funds. You're sadly mistaken. There's plenty of bread to go around, and I do not think that they're done upgrading this football team. I told you I thought they would be somewhat aggressive. They've been more aggressive than I thought they were going to be honest with you, from the standpoint of getting quality football players. I didn't know what they were going to do at quarterback. I didn't know what they were going to do at corner, but I knew they were going to do something, whether it was bring back Ronald Darby or upgrade the position or get somebody of equal or maybe even lesser value at the time that could continue to grow and maybe get better. Those were guys that I suggested because I didn't think they had the balls to pull the trigger on some big ticket items. That's why I was suggesting guys on lower tiers, because I didn't think they were going to spend the money. Well, they're spending the money. They're spending it wisely, not frivolously, and they're getting the best bang for their free agent bucks. So I feel good about these moves, and I don't think they're done quite yet. Curtis Samuel, how do you feel? And how do you feel overall about the offseason to this point for Washington? We'll talk more about that on the Washington Report live on Thursday night. But I'm looking for your responses in the comment section. How do you feel about this signing of Curtis Samuel? How do you feel about what Washington has done in these first 3 days, getting quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, then cornerback William Jackson III, and now getting Curtis Samuel for the wide receiver position? Never, ever trust a man with 2 first names. We'll see. I'm going to read those comments, anxious to see what you have to say. You know how I feel. Now I want to know how you feel. I am a Washington fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Washington spirit will never die. Washington spirit will never fold. Until we meet again, hail to our beloved Washington football team. Right now, for me, Ron's batting really well. His average is outstanding. They're doing a really good job of identifying talented football players and getting them here on market value deals. I want to see what the rest of this offseason holds in store for Washington. I don't think they're done in free agency. I want to see what they do in the draft. Things are shaping up. I'm getting excited. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I am excited about the upcoming season, and these moves are continuing to foster that level of excitement that is building. I'll see you guys on Thursday night. Make sure that before you leave this video, you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already hit it on the way out. I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
LouieTeeNetwork.